Hello, this is Kelly Hamon from Resiliency.Coach. I want to thank all those who participated in the special holiday episode Thanksgiving 2022 podcast. You'll be hearing some spectacular stories of gratitude, thankfulness, and giving. I just want to thank everybody who's participated in these podcasts. There'll be 3 separate ones, 2 from 2 different not-for-profits, and then another one just with people telling their stories. I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving and create new traditions and new memories, and have a blessed day.
My name is Anna. I'm from Israel. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving here, but I'm grateful for so many things. Amongst them is the health of my family members, who my grandma had a surgery last week and she's doing good. And my dad had COVID lately and he's also doing good. So very grateful for that. And my friends and family, and the fact that I sold my first journal yesterday is actually pretty awesome with the timing of this show. And thank you for the opportunity to say what I'm grateful for.
My name is Andre Powell, and I'm hailing from Woodbridge, Virginia. And what I am thankful for most is, one, my faith and my family. And every year we come together and we spend time just telling each other what we're thankful about. Now, of course, being from New Orleans, there is a lot of food all the time. And you can imagine we are ready to eat at the drop of a hat. So having the opportunity to really share what each person is thankful for, and hearing as our families have moved from the central location of New Orleans, Louisiana, to other locations around the United States and around the globe, bringing them all under one roof and really getting to hear what they're thankful for, how lives are changed and how families have grown and gotten so much bigger. I am just thankful for that time to sit down with my family and friends, cousins, and whomever has decided that they're going to make an appearance at our home for Thanksgiving, and just really enjoy that time together. Now, most people will say, oh, it's all about the football. It's all about the football. But for me, it's more so the time of laughing and hearing laughter from people that I don't get to see every single day. And then on top of that, playing board games. Now, if you are competitive, this will resonate with you. We always play board games every year, and one of our favorites, family favorites, is Monopoly. It can get intense, let me just tell you, but it's one of those times where you don't really get to see all those people all the time, but bringing them together makes it absolutely amazing just to hear from them, eat food with them, and then beat some of them in Monopoly. So thank you so much for your time. I hope that you have an enjoyable Thanksgiving, and don't forget to tell and share with others what you are most thankful for. I promise you, it'll go a long way.
Hello, my name is Andrea Collette, and I am talking to you from Orchard Park, New York. And something that I am really grateful for is knowledge. And I know that sounds really cliche, but I'm currently reading a book called Good Inside. It's Becoming the Parent You Want to Be. It's by Dr. Becky Kennedy, I think. And I'm just really grateful that I have so many resources available to me to become a better parent, a better person, better disciple of Christ. Like, I am just so grateful for all the knowledge that is available to me, because I know that wasn't the case for my parents or even just everyone now. And so I'm grateful for knowledge to be able to seek out resources to help me figure out what I'm doing.
Good morning, Kelly. Hey, I am so excited that you've asked me to talk about Thanksgiving and what I am thankful for, and some of the traditions that I have had in my life. So I appreciate this opportunity. You know, Thanksgiving, the holidays can be a really hard time, especially people who have experienced post-traumatic stress disorder or sadness or loss. And so I love that you're doing this podcast. We're putting together these stories about people who are thankful for a lot of things. And boy, I've got a list. I've got a list of things that I am so thankful for right now. And so let me start here. First of all, the first thing I'm thankful for is my Heavenly Father, my God, because without Him and my higher power, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And I wouldn't be thankful for everything else that I have. So He's my number one. Second is my body and my health. So if you've ever followed my story, you know that there's been times in my life, especially around the holidays, that I have been in the hospital or sick or surgeries, and the loss of my baby 33 years ago on November 14th. And so I am so thankful that I have a body, a physical body, a mental body, a spiritual body that allows me to move and provide and just enjoy life. Boy, you know, sometimes I work with a little bit of handicapped people, and I just had a friend that had her leg amputated, and you know, it's interesting just watching her go through that. I have had a gratitude of just, I touch my knees now all the time, and I realize, wow, we take so much for granted. So I'm thankful for my physical, spiritual, and mental body. The other thing I'm thankful for is that as a single divorced woman, that I have created some companies that provide financially for me. I'm thankful that I can buy food for my own family, other families around us. I'm glad that I have food here in my learning center to provide a Thanksgiving feast on Monday, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. I'm thankful for the home that I have. Like I said, I'm single, I'm divorced. I live on my own, but I provide and I live comfortably, and I'm thankful even in these times of troubles with the economy where we are right now. I don't go without, and I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful for my family. I have two beautiful, wonderful children. They're everything to me. I'm thankful that I get to spend time with them during the holidays. My other son's birthday is November 19th, is tomorrow. Oh my goodness. I get to spend Thanksgiving with my dad in Cedar City this year. That is a relationship that we've been working on. I've always been really close to my dad, but you know what? Relationships take a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of patience, and I'm thankful that I've been able to have that. I'm thankful for my friends, even you, Kelly, who live in New York. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for the comments you make on my posts. I'm thankful for the upliftingness. I'm thankful for your positive attitudes, and I have a lot of gratitude with people who are trying to make changes like you and I. So thank you. Okay, let's talk about some traditions. So, you know, I'm 54. I always bring up age. Everyone's like, why do you always bring up age? And I'm like, because it's important. It's important to me that we've learned and that we can go back. And so I'm going back, you know, years and years of, even though I grew up in a home that was very mentally and verbally abusive to some degree, we had some great traditions. And I always like to talk about positive things, not just negative things. And one of the things is my mom is in childcare. She retired, but she's in childcare. But she taught us kids a lot of things, and I want to focus on those positive things with her. And one of them is she didn't know, she's a cute lady. I don't have a relationship with her, but I want to focus on the good things that she's done with her own challenges in life. But she would purchase things, and I didn't realize it at the time until I started purchasing them for my own learning center this last month. She would purchase items, candy, food, toothpicks, and every year she had me and my brothers and sisters sit down at a table, and we made little, like, thinking of you placemat little items that would sit next to the drinks for our Thanksgiving feast and our Thanksgiving dinner. And it didn't matter if we went to BYU, because my grandfather worked at BYU as vice president of Brigham Young University. So sometimes we would go and there would be hundreds of people, felt like hundreds anyway. Or sometimes we would have it in our home, or we would go to my other grandparents. But I'm going to show you, because I actually brought this. I want to show you this. It actually means a lot to me. It looks pretty interesting, pretty weird, but it is an apple, and the head is a marshmallow, And the face is just some orange icing and chocolate chip eyes, and then a candy corn for the beak. Now I chose this year to do a multiple of different colored marshmallows and raisins, but there's five little feathers, and it's all edible, so like it's a little treat. Now growing up, my mom used to buy the spice gumdrops, and we would put them in there, and actually we'd sometimes make it with the bigger spice gumdrops and things like that. But it's interesting, this turkey, I know it sounds a little crazy, but means so much to me with my memories of Thanksgiving. When you are putting together something as simple as this, or smaller for a placemat item, it's so cool because as you're making them, you're thinking about the people who you're making them for and why you're thankful for them. So like aunts and uncles, cousins, friends that were invited, grandparents, some of my grandparents' friends. And they know that when they sit down at their little table, place setting, and a lot of it was formal, so this doesn't look as formal as can be, but they know that my mom's children, which was me, made these for them, and that we did it with care, and that we did it with thought. And anyway, it's been fun as a childcare provider myself to teach my little kids in my learning center about this tradition. So I wanted to share that with you. Again, I appreciate everything that you've done, Kelly. I'm looking forward to hearing other people's traditions. I love to travel during the holidays. I love to embrace the feeling, the spirit that it has. And I hope you guys all have an absolute amazing Thanksgiving.
Hi, everybody. My name is Bonnie Hardie. I am coming to you from Orlando, Florida, and I am a mindset and gratitude expert. I am also a podcast guest coach. And what I do is I empower midlife women to say bon voyage to the shackles in their mind so that they can live their best life. And as for being thankful for things, for gratitude, there are a lot of things that I'm thankful for. Not just the fact that I woke up this morning, not just the fact that I live in Florida and I get fresh air every day, and the weather's kind of nice right now. You know, it is a little chilly. I'm thankful for the friends that I have. I have friends worldwide. I'm thankful that I get to help people on a regular basis to feel better about themselves, to step out of their comfort zone, to get rid of imposter syndrome, to be able to do what it is that they want to really do with their life. I'm grateful for the fact that for having a technology, because I can talk to people from worldwide. I have friends in like 25 countries, I think. So it's easy to be able to talk to people worldwide. And okay, so as for a memory, it's probably about 20 years ago, I went on a family cruise with my family for Thanksgiving. We got, my mom and my two nephews, my brother-in-law, my sister, a couple of friends of my mom. We got to go down to Ocho Rios, Jamaica, and actually we spent Thanksgiving Day in Jamaica. We got to go up Dunn's Rivers Falls, which was kind of crazy. So we had a good time getting together, doing different things, and mingling with each other, and having fun during the day, going off doing different things, coming back, eating dinner at night, talking about what we did during the day. We were all very relaxed, and during the day we got kind of crazy and went out and, wearing our bathing suits and, getting all being casual and stuff. And then at night we cleaned up really well for dinner, so people didn't even recognize us sometimes because that was crazy. And, for more things that I am grateful for, I'm just, really grateful that now this world is getting better. People are coming together now, and people are being a lot more friendly to each other. And people are appreciating things. People appreciating what they do have, and they're not dwelling on what they don't have. And when things are negative, they're usually trying to switch it over to a positive. You always want to think about the positive things that's going on. And just honestly, just, being grateful for life, being grateful that I have friends that come to me and open up to me, and we have deep conversations about stuff. And I really do appreciate the fact that people do come to me and ask me for my opinion on stuff. even though my life isn't always perfect. You know, I am grateful for the fact that people look at me as an expert, and they ask me what's, you know, what I like. Thanksgiving traditions, family wise, we would have, obviously at the family we get together, we'd have the regular, you know, turkey and cranberries and mashed potatoes and stuff. And everybody liked to cook, like, you know, somebody always got to pick what kind of pie we had. And baking pies together as a family was always a lot of fun. You know, we went and bought all the ingredients together as a family. We made it. Sometimes the pies didn't come out that great, but that was okay. Yeah, just getting together as a family every year. And honestly, I probably will not spend Thanksgiving with my family this year, but hopefully I'll be able to spend Christmas with them, or even next year. So it's always good to think about, you know, these different types of memories that we have.
I'm Cindy Burns, and I live just north of Lynchburg, Virginia. My Thanksgiving, I think what I'm most grateful for, especially this year, is I am grateful that both of my sons will be off work. Well, I have 6 sons, but 2 live near me, or live with me. So they will be off of work. And we're going to my church for Thanksgiving. They have a meal for orphans, as they call us. People who don't really have, you know, a lot of family nearby, or can't travel or whatever. And I just think it's wonderful. My husband died 11 years ago, and to be with people that knew him, that share, you know, that we can share. They always have a plate for those who can't be there, either, you know, in the real world or in heaven. And so that's always a nice tradition. And it's not just the meal. We play games, card games. I think somebody's bringing in a Scrabble game this year, and jigsaw puzzles, which is my favorite. I love jigsaw puzzles. So I'm grateful for all the love from extended family who's not really related to me, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's going to be a good Thanksgiving this year. The tradition was always, my husband made sausage stuffing, and it was so good. And after he died, I thought, oh, I'll never have that again. You know, the first Thanksgiving that came up. So one of my sons said, I'm going to give it a try. And his is just as good. So sausage stuffing is associated with Thanksgiving. And my other son has carried on the tradition of making the apple and pumpkin pies. And again, they're just as good as his father's were. And his father was a wonderful cook. So, so yeah, those are the 2 traditions, pie and stuffing.
Happy Thanksgiving. This is Dan Hamon from West Seneca, New York. I'll start with Thanksgiving traditions. My favorite Thanksgiving tradition is that because my family is Canadian and my wife and children are American, we like to celebrate the Canadian Thanksgiving and the American Thanksgiving. And this year it's going to end up that we have 3, but you can't have too many Thanksgivings. So that we really enjoy. And for our own, when we do our own, rather than having a gigantic turkey or something like that, I got this idea from a cooking class along the line about figuring out how much we actually eat, you know, for a good meal, and then maybe doubling that so we have some leftovers. But we end up cooking much less and much faster, which makes it really enjoyable too. So that's some of the things that we've enjoyed to do, traditions. And then I'm grateful for this Thanksgiving. I'm grateful for every breath I breathe. I'm grateful for being out of pain because I spent a lot of my life in chronic pain and have found natural solutions. I'm grateful for that. I feel like decades of suffering now, in retrospect, I look at it as a gift because I can relate to people in pain and I'm able to help a lot of people out of pain. Happy Thanksgiving.
My name is Kenny Ingersoll. I am in Salt Lake City, Utah. Fabulous day this morning. Thanksgiving, I love being with family and friends and enjoying great food. And I'm grateful for my family and friends and all those that support me. And I'm also grateful for the things I learned through challenges and through different struggles and situations that I've gone through because of how much I've learned and grown.
My name is LeNae Goolsby. I'm the co-founder of Infinite Health Integrative Medicine Center. I'm so thankful and grateful that we have finally got people together in a unified fashion and that support our vision and mission. So this year, so thankful and grateful for my team.
Hi, my name is Lynette Wehner, and today I would like to share a story from my life on the importance of family and of giving and being grateful. It started right before the housing crisis in the mid-2000s, I guess. My husband at the time and I bought a house. It was a huge house. It was my dream house. Unfortunately, my excitement for it came crashing down when I found out that my husband wanted out of the marriage. So we had to put the house up for sale about a year after we bought it. It obviously didn't sell because that was right when everything was starting with the housing crisis. Months went by and no buyers. By then he had moved out. I was now a single parent living in this huge dream house, working through a divorce and having to deal with potential buyers coming in and out of the house at all hours. And if you've ever had to sell your house and you've ever had kids, you kind of know what I'm talking about. It's not that much fun trying to keep the house spotless all the time. But even with all that work, it still didn't sell. My now ex-husband, over time here, started to delay sending me his money to pay the bills. We owned the house equally. I still kept sending in my mortgage payment and paying all the bills on time, even though I was slowly depleting my own savings. I remember writing so many letters of help to the mortgage companies. No one seemed to know how to handle things or what to do or how to help, because I obviously didn't receive any help. I then found out that my ex-husband filed for bankruptcy, which added yet another layer of stress onto me. I hired a lawyer because he told me he could help, but he turned out to be a scammer, so I was scammed out of about $1,000 there. I hired another lawyer a couple year or so later, and they really didn't know how to help me. I think the whole entire situation with the housing market was new, and again, no one just knew how to handle it. Meanwhile, though, I'm still in the house. My house has decreased drastically in price. There was no way we would be able to sell it for what we bought it for at this point. I still kept making payments until I didn't. And that was a hard decision because I always pay my bills. I am very responsible with that kind of thing. It was very hard for me. But my back was up against the wall. I wasn't getting any help and I was drowning. Interestingly enough, by not paying my mortgage, all of a sudden, I finally got a response from the mortgage company, even though I've written them so many times before. Again, more papers filed and help. None really received but it did take me about 6 years for me to finally sell that house from the first time we put it up for sale. There was a lot of back and forth with the mortgage company during that time, a lot of letters coming in that I was going to default on my loan and all that, a lot of stress. So obviously, when I finally did sell it, it was a short sale and my credit was ruined. But I just felt like I had to do what I had to do. I had 2 kids and nowhere to go because of my credit now. And that is where the story finally turns. I remember exactly what he wrote to me after mentioning where to go. He said, "Help is on its way." My dad and stepmom bought a condo for me in which my kids and I lived until just recently with cash. I didn't have a mortgage. I paid them a little amount plus the interest. I had a place for my kids. I had a place that he put in my name, and it became mine and got me through a very rough time. They didn't have to do that. I still tear up about thinking about it, and I'm trying not to get emotional right now. Time went on, and my credit was restored. My kids grew up, they left, and I just recently sold the condo. It wasn't where I was at in my life anymore. I needed something smaller. It was a very teary, emotional event when I was able to give them a check for that entire amount, plus a little extra. No amount of money in the world could pay them back for the help that they gave me. I'm forever grateful for that gift that I received from my dad and my stepmom. And I hope that they know how much it was appreciated.
Marcia Nathai-Balkissoon. My story, at least this part of the story, began about 10 years ago when my daughter Emma was 8 months old. She had been born with some problems in her heart, and those problems had gotten bad enough that she was at risk for stroke and seizure. And so we went off to the hospital to get open heart surgery done. All went well, and she was already recovering. But during the process of taking her off of the ventilator, somebody, instead of pulling out the tube from her throat, they dislodged the tube from her heart, causing her to bleed out and flatline. So at 8 months old, my daughter, who had stood for the first time the day before, eventually she came back to us, and she came back having lost all of her senses and her ability to suck and swallow. It starts with the down, which is that my daughter flatlined. But what happened then is that I emerged from that feeling trapped in life and feeling like, you know, this is it. I gave up all of my dreams and life was always going to be sad and scary and all of that. And I woke up one morning and I was so broken. The minute that I opened my eyes, everything just descended on me again. And I'm like, okay, same old, trapped. And what happened is her laughter just flowed through the room. And that was my wake-up call. And that's sort of the thing that kicked me out of the doldrums and changed my life. I'd been in the doldrums for about 6 years at that point, because she's been brain injured and bedridden for 10. And I realized that I hadn't lost anything. The person who had lost everything was Emma. And I was mourning how much I had lost. And the person who had lost all of her senses, all of her ability to suck and swallow and walk and do everything else, see, she was waking up in the morning and hearing the bird outside and laughing with joy that she had a day to experience and to give all of who she was. And she never questioned if who she was enough. And that totally changed
how I see life and how I live life. And I'm now a coach who helps women to create space for themselves and the best life they can create, even if they feel overwhelmed.
Hello, this is Kelly Hamon, and I'm talking to you from West Seneca, New York. And I wanted to share with you a Thanksgiving memory. My gram, every single year while she was still with us, would invite everybody, and I mean everybody, who she thought wouldn't have a holiday to our holiday. Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. And they were people that we all knew, but they may not have had a family or a place to go for the holidays. That's how kind and sweet she was. And she would invite all these people. Thanksgiving in particular, she would ask every single person what their favorite pie was. And she would have every single pie that anybody would say that they wanted. And in fact, I remember there were some years where we had more pie than the entree, but we had plenty of food always. We had the turkey, the stuffing, the homemade stuffing that Graham used to make, and it was so yummy. I remember even as a child helping to make that stuffing. We would be invited overnight. My cousin and I would take turns, and my gram would put the bread out the night before so it would get stale, and then we would take our hands and cut up the bread with our hands, and then we'd watch Graham make the stuffing. She would fry the onions and celery in hot butter, and then because it was too hot, we couldn't help with the process. She would put that over all that bread, and then she'd make breakfast sausage, and add that to the stuffing, and then a couple of eggs, and then she'd use her hands and make it all yummy, and then she'd put it in the oven. That was Thanksgiving for us. We had so many people at Thanksgiving. Our family was a small nuclear family, very small. Often it was just my mom and I at Thanksgiving. But because my gram was so kind and selfless, she invited that many people over. So our Thanksgiving wasn't small, but it was huge. Tons of people always, and tons of love and friendship and tons of food. Wonderful Thanksgiving memories. I hope you all have wonderful Thanksgiving memories, or I hope you start new traditions. And happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays.
My name is Michael Eback. I'm coming from Moorhead, Minnesota. And I am incredibly thankful this year for the birth of my first child. My wife and I had her back in January, and it has been incredible. And we are also expecting another one on the way. So that has been the biggest blessing of the year. I love being a girl dad, and I'm just excited for my family to keep going. We have been still creating memories by now including her family into Thanksgiving festivities. So traditions and memories and everything. I'm just excited to see where things go from here.
Hi, I'm Rhonda Reuther, and I'm from Pensacola, Florida. And not just like this year, but like all years, I am so thankful to be here because, and to have the family that I have, because a lot of people don't have what I have. And it goes all the way back to when I was 4.5 years old, I was adopted. I got a new mom, a new dad. I got a new humongous, caring, loving family. And I don't know where I would be right now today if I hadn't had that. I have a family of my own now. I have children and I have grandchildren. And I'm thankful not just on Thanksgiving Day, but I'm thankful every day for them and all the opportunities that I've had in life.
Hi, I'm Starlyn Haneman. I am joining you from Fort Collins, Colorado, and I am thankful for 3 years of sobriety. 3 years ago, I decided that I needed to change my life. I was anxious, overwhelmed, not showing up as a great parent, just really drowning in my struggles. And so I started a journey of kind of finding myself. I started meditating and working out regularly, had a gratitude journal, and just baby stepped my way. And now 3 years later, I am a wellness coach helping moms to do the same thing. So I'm grateful for my struggles that led me to this path of helping others.
My name is Stephanie. I'm also known as the Giving Gal, and I would love to share a story on gratitude today. And it takes me back to April 2021. I lived in the middle of the woods, 10 acres, loved to be outside. My husband was chopping wood and I was carrying the wood. And the next morning around 3 a.m., 4 a.m., I woke up and just itching on my arm. Got up, went to the bathroom, looked at it, and I literally had the thought, like I had been bit by a spider, didn't think much about it, walked myself back to bed. And by the time I got to bed, I started feeling very lightheaded. My heart rate started to just accelerate, felt dizzy. My husband, who is a state trooper, I wake him up and I'm like, I think I've been bit by a spider, having an allergic reaction. We need to go to the ER. And you ever have those moments where things are in slow motion and you need to be in fast motion? That was my husband. And I'm yelling at him. I went to the closet. I thought I was going to die in the closet. Like, I don't know if I just started getting anxious or allergic reaction, combination of both. Finally, we get in the car, we get to the hospital. The doctor was like, have you been scratched by a cat? He's going through all this stuff, gives me an antibiotic, sends me home. The next day, I started having a track line, a red track line run up my arm. So I got bit right here. I go to a doctor and they're like, let's just switch the antibiotic. And, if it starts moving any further, go to the ER. Well, by that afternoon, I had a track line all the way up in my bicep. I call my husband. He was actually on the range. I was like, you need to come home. This is serious now. And so we go to the ER. They immediately put an IV in me with an antibiotic. They admit me, the doctors see it. And that was, the nurse, when I go into the ER, the nurse tells me, you understand if that gets to your heart, it kills you. Like, yes, I'm very aware. This is a very serious situation. And they admit me to the hospital. And I am someone that has used gratitude every day for years. It was kind of this tool. And so I thought, I have a couple of choices of why I'm sitting here. I could focus on the magnitude of what I'm going through. Also, I continue to have different challenges, reactions to the antibiotics that they were giving me, but they had to give them to me. I got poison ivy while I was there. I had a reaction to a Band-Aid. Like, everything that could go wrong went wrong. We also found out that I got bit by a brown recluse. So it was a venomous spider. And so I just sat in bed and started saying, okay, instead of focusing on all these crazy things that are going on, all the negative, is what can I be grateful for? I was grateful that I had doctors that were, now they took it as something serious. I was grateful that they had a room available at the hospital. This was we're still in 2021, so there's still COVID patients, and I was able to have a room. I was able to have a room by myself, which I'm an introvert, and I was very grateful. I was grateful they let my husband come in and be with me. There are so many people that didn't have, loved ones or spouses, and they actually let him stay beyond kind of the visiting hours before. I was grateful I was at the end of the hall. There were just all these things that I just constantly was intentional of looking around, going, what can I be grateful for during something that was very traumatic to me?
Hi, I'm Zeina. I am calling in from Austin, Texas, and I am the founder and CEO of Sea Rock Coaching. I help people get clarity on career transitions and where they're at with their life or their business. For me, from my own experience, and then I just know, kind of as a society, as we turn into the fall and the winter, a lot of times, because it's cold outside, things slow down, just the pace of everything. Obviously, things ramp up a little bit before the holidays, but we have the holidays in this winter time that we tend to go inward. We hibernate a little bit. And I personally have always loved this period, even though I'm not a fan of cold, I'm not a fan of the winter. I do love this time and really take advantage of it to reset. So regardless of whether you're spending time with family, sometimes it's a little challenging to find that time for ourselves. But especially if you're not doing anything, I've actually always loved, my family lives abroad, so I never really had the opportunity sometimes to see them. And I always had friends being super gracious and offering, come to Thanksgiving for us or come spend the holidays with us this year. But when I started declining those invitations, it was so nice to be able to just spend that time with myself, especially if you're living in a world where you're constantly needing to help and serve and support other people, be that your family, your friends, your job. It's so nice to just take a day without any distractions, mostly because everyone else is distracted with their own families, that you won't have this like fear of missing out, fear of, oh, well, I need to help this other person. If there's a day when everything around you is quiet, really take advantage of that. And you don't even have to be doing anything. You can literally sit on the couch in silence, like watch a movie, read a book. I love this time because it is quiet and you can sit and do a meditation or do something that you wouldn't normally do because you don't have the space or the time or the access to it. So that's one of the things that I love doing is journaling, doing different meditations, doing things I normally would be kind of last on my list if I had time, but you are the first to fall off that list because you woke up late or because you went to a dinner or whatever it is. So I really encourage people, if they're looking, if maybe they're upset that that they're, spending time alone, like I would look in as that as like a huge positive. This is the one time that it's quiet, that you don't have any external noise, that you can really look inward and reflect on, what's been going good for you and what hasn't been going good for you in the past, 6 months, year. And instead of focusing on the negative, trying to figure out what is it that you actually want instead. And how can you go about bringing more of that into your experience? Because as we move through life and we're so caught up with other people around us, it's easy to get lost in what it is that we truly want and we truly desire. So I would just take this as a really good opportunity to level set and see, what our goals are for ourselves. Because at the end of the day, obviously we have all of these, commitments and people that we need to be here for, but you can't pour from an empty cup. So you do need to make sure that you're looking at yourself as well, because if you continuously serve other people, there will come a day where, because you haven't given anything to yourself, that well will dry up and you no longer can serve these people that you've been working so hard for. So take a second and make sure that you're also looking inward and seeing what it is that you need and honoring that. And if you have to communicate that to people, do that and set those boundaries and enforce them, because that's the only way that we can maintain everything in our lives and show up consistently for not only ourselves, but for other people as well. And this year, I am particularly thankful for where I'm at, I guess. I recently left the corporate world and started this business of mine. And I never in my wildest dreams imagined I would be an entrepreneur. Actually, it was actually like the furthest from anything I could have ever imagined. And the amount of personal growth that I've seen in myself throughout this process has been genuinely unsurpassed. So I'm super thankful for not only all of the life and, work and career experiences that I had and went through in order to get to this place, but also the people who were there and are still here who've supported me through this entire process. When you go through a massive change and an up level, a lot of times it makes your surroundings, the people in your life, uncomfortable because they see something maybe in you and what you're doing that, they maybe don't see in themselves. And it's not that it's not there, but I'm just so thankful that not only have I realized this for myself, and as I, make these steps into the unknown, that I do have such a supportive community of friends and family and have met so many people that are so willing to lend their ears and their thoughts and their supports throughout this process. Being an entrepreneur, especially being a solopreneur, when it's just you and you're trying to take everything on yourself and you're not ready to hire any help. And I honestly don't even know that I want to hire help right away, because it's really cool being able to do everything. But I'm just so thankful that I am finally in this space, because the growth has been just unreal. I mean, I never realized that being an entrepreneur, I know you would do things by yourself, but you're so faced with any limiting beliefs, anything that you could easily kind of get away and like numb and not have to deal with in the corporate world. You didn't like doing it. Maybe someone else would pick up the slack. Like, there is no one to pick up the slack in this world. So it's really, I mean, it's challenging. It's super scary, but I just can't stop thinking about how grateful I am for every moment, every experience, whether it works out, whether it doesn't. It's just making me a better person, a better human. And the more that I'm able to do this authentic work to help other people, the more I just feel like I'm growing as well. So I am beyond thankful. Like, where I was a year ago, if I reflect back, I every time around the holidays to kind of reset and think where I was the year prior. And I was, if you asked me last year, I wasn't considering this at all. So it's been a whole, 180 transformation for me. And it's so beautiful going through this for myself, because I already coach other people through it. So I'm able to show up even more authentically for them, having my own experience. Granted, everyone's, unique experiences are so different, but it's so cool to have my own experiences to, think of, what did I need at that time when I was going through where some of my clients may or may not be, or how would I maybe have approached things differently? So it's such a beautiful process of growing and helping others at the same time. So this year, that's kind of the space that I've been in, and just super thankful that not only am I helping myself, but the more I help myself, the more I am capable to help other people as well.